Hey guys, I come to you and I'm going to start this review off with something I know you all enjoy. A history lesson! About vampires. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Vampires are one of the most terrifying specters, if you will, of the fiction age, like the horror movie genre. And that is the enemy we are going to kill in Medievil2 Wulfrum Hall, the next level. So, it's an interesting thing, because the vampires in this level, if you haven't played the game, I don't know why you'd be watching this, but if you've ever played the game, you know how creepy these things are. I mean, they're in the PS1 graphics. So, by PS1 graphics standards, they're pretty creepy, but they're more than that. They're completely different from any other vampire you've seen ever before. I mean, when you think vampire, what do you think of? This, or maybe to a lesser extent this, or maybe even... Oh, what the hell?! I hate freaking Twilight. It is like the biggest insult to vampire genres everywhere. Oh, I mean, it's like a love story. I mean, look, did you see New Moon? I mean, I didn't see it personally. I went to go see 2012 that weekend. But, of course, New Moon had to be released, and the line for it had to be like 5 miles long. So I had to wait forever just to watch a movie that everyone else isn't going to see, but that's not important. Anyway, the vampire's actual image, the actual image of a vampire was seen in the movies. You know, Bela Lugosi, the original of Dracula, was the guy with the slick back hair, suave, black cloak, Transylvania accent, looked nice and calm until he bites your neck, sucks out your blood until you're a dried husk, nothing more than... Okay, there you go. But anyway, that took place in 1930s movies, and this was way before the movie age. This was in 1886. So, I guess it wouldn't have made sense for them to show vampires nowadays. So, what they did was use these. Do these look like any vampires you have ever seen in your life? No. These are far more creepier. Beside the fact that Dracula was, you know, human looking. But I guess that's probably the reason, like makeup. Because this was the original representation of vampires. Because if you look in some mythological books, I mean, I was too lazy, so I never checked them, but I'm probably assuming that in the olden days, when the vampire myth was first born, they would probably imagine these hideous, scary as hell things that were basically demonic. So that's probably what they modeled them after, and I'm pretty sure if I saw this chasing after me instead of a Dracula-esque person with a black cloak and stuff, I'd be about 10 times more scared at that point. So, yeah. Pretty creepy. These things, they scared me. I mean, this is PlayStation 1 graphics, so it's not as impressive as you might think, because it's, like, pixelated. But, you know, these things, they can get you, especially the way they scream, too. Because to kill them, you gotta light them on fire using the sun, and they just scream. I'll show you when I'm playing the level, but it's like an evil cackling that just... It's a combination of scraping your nails on the chalkboard, and I think bats dying. That's the best way I can describe it, because it's very odd. Oh, before we start the game, too, let me show you something else in this guidebook that I can never understand, and no one's ever mentioned it to me. But, this is another enemy in the game we're going to face. This is called a Renfield, and I guess that was a, like a servant of Dracula. Okay, now pay attention, okay? We got an axe, we got a mustache, fur coat, and a little pillbox hat, okay? The actual enemies look nothing like that. I mean, literally, no resemblance whatsoever. Nothing. I mean, they're like, instead of that, we get a small man in a green coat with a blue face, a horribly disfigured eyes and mouth. So, I don't know. I mean, this game was released in Europe and in America, so for all I know, it could have been a completely different game. I have no idea, but... they look nothing like the ones in this game. I don't know if they changed them. I don't think why would they if all the other enemies looked exactly the same as the other ones, but whatever. Let's just get to the level. I've talked long enough. I have no idea what Wulfrum Hall even means. I don't know if that's where vampires are supposed to hang out. Maybe it's a castle in Transylvania.
Try the second compressor, Dogman. What a strange adversary Fortescue is. He's persistent, I'll give him that.
So what do these guys do? They just, like, expect me to follow them, that's why they go to these specific locations and set traps for me? I mean, this is a guy trying to find pages of a spellbook and take over the world. Why does he have to keep setting traps for me when he can just simply go to Cathedral Spires, get his last page of the spellbook, and just finish the game?
The time right for my
Yes.
Oh, that's foreshadowing right there. A guy on a radio.
Come on, we're off.
No, Dan, don't go in the vampires. Just follow the rocket ship since you landed here immediately, like right after that. Okay, Winston, this is always so nice.
Hi, Dan. The entrance seems to be guarded. I'll try and find another way in if I was you. Has the professor told you about using hands? Stand over one of
Yeah, I already heard this. Okay. Hey guys, did you notice that Winston is completely friggin' useless? I mean, he's a ghost. His name is Winston the Help Ghost. He's meant to give us help, okay? He can pass through solid objects, but he's always so vague. He's like, there's the door, but it's locked. You'll have to find another way in. I mean, literally. He can literally go through this entire castle without getting a scratch on him because, you know, he's already dead. Find every single place where there's enemies. Tell me where there's vampires at. Tell me how to kill them. But no, he's just so vague. Damn. Alright, well, we do get our new little fancy sword. Now, this is a little bit better than the original, because in the original game, every time you wanted the sword, you had to select it. Well, this one goes down in energy every time you recharge it. Like so. So you recharge it, and now it's going down rapidly. But when I switch back to the bombs, that percentage stops. And this makes it easier to use. If you've noticed, I hardly ever used the broadsword in the last game, simply because, you know, it was so kind of useless. Because the more I held it, I had to I lost more energy for it, and before you know, I'm down to 100, I'm down to 0. And I had to keep going back in the inventory, picking the gun, or the weapon I wanted to use next, and I had to keep switching out. So now I can just keep it as long as I want. Well, this bell's completely useless, but let's see what it has to do anyway. And I can't do it with my... Okay, did that look anything like the thing I showed you in the book? Yeah, I guess not. And apparently you can't ring a bell with a pistol. That makes a lot of sense. Alright, so it's time to put our minds together for the big puzzle in the game. A window that only a hand-sized object can go into. And there are hands. And Winston specifically told us to use the hands. And the professor did earlier. Wow, this is such a big mystery. Alright, well, this kind of part does get kind of tense because you gotta go in the next room, steal the key. Hey, pal, how you doing? Okay, guess the hand can't jump on the stairs. I don't know why that's so hard to do. Alright, so I gotta go in there, get the key, get to a dumbwaiter that'll take me up to the next upper level. And this will happen if I get caught. Sometimes he hits me with my hammer. With his hammer. I lucked out there. But, you know, it gets so annoying because you just want to run up, grab the key, and get out. But you can't. You have to kind of take it slow because the hand's harder to control than regular Dan is. If that makes sense. Okay, call the dumbwaiter. Wait for it. Aha! Okay, so this is Wulfrum Hall and all its scariness. Oh my god, what is this? Oh, okay, so aside from... Oh, I guess the creators assumed that because they had really creepy vampires, they needed to have really cute vampire girls. Yeah, that makes sense. You gotta think for a second, did vampires always live here? Because every single thing in here is undead. Like, who built this place? Oh. Dang it. Oh, well, thank you, young girl. You helped me out there. And I just... You gotta love how they stack these books specifically, just in case some hand-sized object with a head attached to it might need to exit a